Seliken fans to another video. How are you guys doing? I missed you guys so much. It's been a long time and I decided to film this video for you guys today. But if you are new here, please don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Let us grow this family together, guys. And after watching this video, give this video a thumbs up, leave a comment in the comment section below, and share this video to your friends. Let your friends join this wonderful family and let's keep on learning things together. So without further ado, let's get straight to this video. Today I want to share with you some of the things I wish I knew before I got married. Yes, you heard me right. What I'm going to share with you today are some of the things I wished I had discussed with my husband, my then boyfriend, very well and extensively before we got into marriage. Because these were the things that showed up in marriage and we had a little issues there out about it. But we were able to manage it well, we were able to come out of it. But I felt like if we had discussed it earlier on, when I face these things in marriage, I'll be more familiar with it and I would have known how to handle it better. So my first point I want to discuss about is that being in love is not enough to build a successful marriage. You know, when we all start dating or you meet someone new, you are attracted to the person, you start having some tingling feelings inside your body. Some people say they have butterflies in their stomach. I also experienced the same thing. You have sleepless nights, you're always talking to each other, you're always calling each other, and you are so in love that the next thing you want to think about is running away somewhere and go and get married. I know it happens to a lot of young people who just fall in love. Yes. And it is so normal to get attracted to somebody and start feeling that way. But what I want to let you guys know is that that feeling is not enough to build a successful marriage. Because when life challenges set in, or when you get married after some time, that feeling or that phase is going to pass away. And what is left next, or what happens next when that feeling fades away, that alone is not enough to build a successful marriage. So what happens is that when you get married, that tingling feeling, that butterflies in the stomach kind of feeling, that falling in love feeling doesn't last throughout the marriage. For some people, it can last a year or two or above. For others too, it is lesser. For others, it's a month or two and that feeling fades away. So you can sometimes hear couples saying that my husband doesn't love me anymore, the way he used to buy me gifts or the way he used to call me when we got married, he doesn't do all those things again. It's not because probably he doesn't love you anymore, but maybe that tingling feeling, that butterflies in the stomach kind of feeling, that I'm in love with you kind of feeling has faded away. So what should be left right now is the friendship. That is why it's good to build friendship before you get married. Be friends with your spouse. So I want to talk to couple out there, especially those who are dating now. Be friends with your spouse. Build that kind of close relationship so that when you get married and then that love is gone, what is left will be the friendship that will keep you guys together. When he doesn't do all those things he used to do for you before, you guys can still stay and build a happy marriage. So this is one point I wished I had discussed earlier on in my relationship, probably because at the beginning I didn't really understand, even though it's just 1 year into my marriage. But this 1 year has made me learn a lot of things, that love feeling is going to leave, and what kept us together was our friendship. But I still wished I had built that friendship deeper and more before entering into marriage. Okay, so guys, let's get to our second point. Another point I would want to talk about is that I wished I had discussed about how we are going to handle our financial obligation. Yes, so we are going to talk about finances now. You know, those times before I got married, I was staying with my parents. They pay for my rent, they pay my utilities, I don't pay any money. My parents were doing everything. So when I got married, I felt like probably that's the same thing. And we had the notion that the man is supposed to cater for everything. The man came to marry you and he's the one supposed to take care of you. So at the beginning of the marriage, those things were like issues in the marriage. Okay, there were issues. So I want to let you guys know that when you are dating, you are planning to get married someday, you are courting, discuss how you are going to share your finances, discuss what you are going to do about money. That is the time to discuss it, not when you get into the marriage. So when you get into the marriage and these things start popping up, you know how to handle it better. You know, with the ladies, most of us are staying with our parents. We don't know that we have to contribute. But when you get married, you have to contribute. Discuss with your husband. Should we bring 50-50? Should we bring 70-30? Should we bring 80-20? It's based on both of you. However you want it to be done is based on both of you. But this is something you should discuss before you get married. I think when you even discuss it before marriage, you get to know if your woman is someone that would like to share her money. And one thing you have to understand too is that when you get married, your money is no longer my money, but our money. I know most ladies might not agree with this, but that is the truth. So in building a successful marriage, to avoid all the quarrels and fights, just understand that it's no longer my money, but our money. So both of you have to decide, sit down and discuss it. What percentage is going to go into savings? What percentage is going to go into buying of foodstuffs, utilities, paying rent and all that? What percentage is going to go into other stuff? Discuss all these things, especially when you are dating or you are in a relationship. That is the best time to discuss all this before you get into marriage. And guys, please let your wives know your salary. It's no big deal, because I realize that if you let your wife know your salary, she will know exactly how much you are taking and know how to ask you for money. Imagine you tell her, I'm taking 1,000 cedis. She knows my husband's salary is 1,000 cedis. She can't go and ask you to buy her hair that costs 3,000 cedis because she knows your salary. But if you don't tell her, imagine your husband works at an oil company and then probably he's taking 500 cedis, but he doesn't tell you. You might feel like this guy is making so much money. You ask him to buy you a hair of 3,000 cedis and he says he doesn't have money. Then you get so angry that this guy is working here because you don't know his salary. So guys, be open. If you are taking 1,000 cedis, tell your girlfriend, your wife, I'm taking 1,000 cedis. Let her know your stand. That's the same way if you are taking more, about 10,000 cedis a month, and you make your spouse understand that you are taking 10,000 cedis a month. And even if she's asked for certain things, you can plan. Oh, maybe she tells you I want a hair worth 3,000. You can make her understand that probably we have a building project we want to do. So why don't we rather save towards that, and then another time we get you the hair. All this boils down to the fact that you have to discuss this when you are dating. If you are taking 10,000 cedis and you are dating and you make your spouse understand that I am taking 10,000 and she's still demanding for big things because she knows her salary, you tell her you want to build a house, she doesn't support it. She says, Chinchina, I want my 3,000 here. What is it? What is she telling you? That is a red flag. You will know that this is not the kind of lady for me. This is a lady that will be overspending in marriage. So you get to know at once, so that when you get into marriage, you will not face all these things. So discuss it. When you discuss it, it helps you make better decisions when you get married. So this is another point I wish I had known before I got married. The next point I'm going to talk about, which is my point 3, is that I wish I had known earlier or discussed earlier that I was marrying the whole family. Before I got married, I just thought probably when we get married, it's just me and my husband that will be there forever and we'll have our kids and all that. But what I didn't know is that you are actually marrying the whole family and you're going to have in-laws and things visiting. So what happens is that some people in the marriage, when their in-laws come, they start frowning their face. They're not welcoming enough. They start getting angry. Where are they coming? What do they want? Can they leave? But you should understand that when you are getting married, you're marrying the whole family. So these are things you should be expecting in marriage, and then you should discuss it before marriage. The reason why you should discuss this before marriage is that get to know your husband's people or your boyfriend's people or your wife's people before marriage. You see, when you build a relationship to them before you get married, it makes it easier. Imagine you are very good friends with your sister-in-law actually before they marry you and she visits you. It's easier than when you don't have any relationship with them at all and they come, you don't know how to relate to them, then you start frowning your face. So whilst you are dating, visit your boyfriend's home. Get to know his mom, get to know his dad, know how many siblings he have. Some people have very large family, very large extended family. When you get married, they're going to be trooping in and out. If you are somebody that always likes to keep to yourself, you don't want in-laws coming in, let your boyfriend know right now. This is the point to let your guy know. This is the point to let your woman know. If you're that kind of guy that wants your privacy, you don't want people coming around, let your girlfriend know now. So that when you get married and these things come, because these are major things that causes divorces, issues in marriage. And these were things that I wish I had known is going to happen in my marriage, and now they're staring me right into their face. Some people are there, they are dating for so long now, they don't even know their mother-in-law. They've not seen their boyfriend's mother before. They've not seen their boyfriend's family before, and you are going to get married. Then later on you get married and then they start coming in and you start complaining, my husband's sisters are visiting too much. you don't have any relationship with them, you don't even know them. So this is the time that you have to get to know them. Know that you are marrying the whole family and not just you and your husband. In-laws are going to come in, husband's friends are going to come, wife's friends are going to come. This is the time to get to know them and build that relationship with them, so that after marriage, when they start coming in, you already have that friendship with them. It won't disturb you. So this is another point I wish I knew before I got married. So another point or another thing I want to talk about is that your personality translates into your behavior. Don't worry, I'm going to explain it further. So one thing I've come to learn is that we have two people, the morning people and then the evening people or the night people. Me, like this, I'm a night person. I like to stay awake all night and work. If I have to learn, I want to stay awake all night and learn. If I have any work to do, I prefer to be awake the whole night and work, and then in the morning I will sleep. And my husband is a morning person. He likes to wake up very early in the morning, do all his work, his in and out, everything, and then by 9 p.m. he's done. His system breaks down and he's tired. He wants to sleep. But me, that is the time that in fact my system wakes up around 9-10. That is when my system wakes up and I want to work, I want to talk. So if you are a night person and you are going to marry a morning person, you can imagine the issues that is going to bring into the marriage. So these are some of the things you should talk about. You should know your man to know if he is a morning person or a night person. I remember one day we went for counseling. Before we got married, we went for counseling, and then our Reverend Father asked us that we should tell each other what we dislike about each other. And then he said one thing he didn't like about me was that I don't wake up early. But at that time, what he refused to know was that I'm a night person. The way he wakes up with that kind of zeal, enthusiasm in the morning to go to work, that's the time my system is also breaking down and wants rest from the work I did in the night. So if you marry somebody and you don't understand these things about the person, you feel maybe your wife is lazy. Some people to have husbands who are rather nice people and don't like to work in the morning, and you feel your husband is lazy, but it is their personality that has translated into their behavior. So whilst you are dating, these are small signs you should look out for and you should talk about. If you realize you are a morning person, your man is a night person, let him know. Tell him that this is how I like. I prefer to sleep during the day and work in the night. If you want to meet to do something for you, get a meeting point, understand each other, talk about it. Because these are things that are going to become issues in your marriage. And when you talk about it before the marriage, you are able to handle it better when you get married. Okay, so the final and last thing I want to talk about is your faith. And this is one important aspect of this whole marriage thing. This is an important part to me because right now I share the same faith with my husband. We are both Catholics. We attend the same church. But at the beginning, it wasn't like that. When we were dating, these were issues that were coming up, and these were issues that we were arguing about so much. When we were dating, and he told me he was a Catholic, and I was like, Catholic? You know, we all have some kind of issues with Catholic people, and I was like, but well, I love him, of course. Like what I was telling you in the beginning, being in love. I was in love with him, he was in love with me, but so we didn't really see it as an issue. The issue really started coming up when he wanted me to marry him. And now we're contemplating whether to get married in the Catholic church or my church. At a normal circumstances, we're supposed to get married in my church, and then I moved to join him in his church. But you know, Catholics today have a different way of doing their thing, so it was becoming an issue. He felt like I should come and join him in the church. You know, I have to start attending Catholic church to start understanding the basics and principles before getting married. And I didn't want to understand. I was like, why should I be the one to move from my church? Why won't you be the one to move from your church? And we're having so many arguments that time. Right now, it's not an issue in my marriage anymore because I was able to understand by then and we were able to work on it. That is why this part is very, very important to me, because I want you couples to understand. If both of you are in the same church, fine, it's easy. But if you are in different churches, even if you are a Methodist going to marry a Pentecostal, Pentecostals do their things differently from Methodists. If you are in Global, you're going to marry somebody from EP, they do their things differently, and these issues come up in marriage. So when you have children, are they going to follow their mom like I did? Are they going to follow their dad? Or are they also going to have their own church? You guys should discuss it. Me and my husband started discussing these issues. He made me understand why he wanted me to join his church. I made him understand why I wanted him to join my church. He asked me to come to his church one day and then just see how things are done. I went to his church and I had so many questions. Why do you guys do this? Why do you guys do that? And that was when he came down, took his time, took me through one by one by one. It's not so bad after all. I can do this. So even before we got married, I started attending his church. Every Sunday I'll go to his church and then ask questions. I'll go and meet the Reverend Father, ask questions. I'll meet other people that are very good in their faith, ask them questions, and I got to understand most of their things. And I was like, I will join. I prayed about it myself, had the conviction, had the good conscience about it, and I joined his church or joined his faith even before we got married. And up to now, I have not regretted, but it is problems in other people's marriage. People are fighting and are having a lot of arguments because of this church thing, because of this faith thing. So these are some of the things that you have to discuss with your boyfriend or your girlfriend. If she's attending a church, you're not too comfortable with it, try to sort it out when you are dating. Let her understand why she should move to your church. Let him understand why he should move to your church. If you guys cannot meet at any point or nobody is willing to move, then probably it's better you leave the relationship, because it's better to break a relationship than to break a marriage in the future. It's much more easier. So these are some of the things you should discuss, especially when it comes to your faith. If you both are in the same church, fine, bingo. But if you are in different church, this is the time to start talking about it. So okay guys, all too soon we've come to the end of this video, and these are some of the things I wish I knew before I got married. I hope you guys learned something new from me today, and I hope you guys are going to look at it extensively and discuss it in your relationship, in your courtship, or even in your marriage. It's not too late to still discuss about it. Give this video a thumbs up and leave a comment in the comment section below. Bye.